Hi, I'm MiniReviewer, and this is my review for SWAT 3 Close Quarters Combat. After watching the Let's Play SWAT 4 series on SpoonyExperiment.com, I decided that was a game I had to own, so I set off into my local game shops, and like the game The Movies, it suffered from what I like to call 2005 syndrome. This is where a game isn't old enough to be in the budget titles section, but too old to be in the charts or new games section. So, for several years, until the classic series re-releases the game, it sort of drifts into gaming limbo. But, in a cost cutters, I found the next best thing, SWAT 3. It was only 95p, so I started it up with low expectations. In terms of gameplay, the nearest thing I can compare it to is Rainbow Six 3. You have a squad that you can command, and you do so from a first-person perspective in real time. Although the game differs in that you have to follow strict police procedure, which means giving warnings, cuffing civilians, and reporting everything. Also, there is an emphasis on bringing guys in alive. However, thankfully, in the high-pressure terrorist missions, shooting a bad guy down without warning doesn't mean a mission fail. The graphics were ahead of their time, apparently using a newly developed graphics engine that employed some features from Gabriel Knights 3, although they do look rather Half-Life-esque, in my opinion. The people are motion captured, and there are many unique character models, although while this looks great in the arrest missions, where you go into a building and there are only about 5 people, and while they're all unique, in the terrorist missions, all of the terrorists seem to have the same stock model, which looks a bit jarring compared to the other missions. Another minor irritation is, aside from health, there is no real heads-up display whatsoever, no indication of ammo, which, while it fits in with the realism thing, is quite annoying when 20 minutes into a mission, you enter a firefight, get a dead man's click, and that's it, you're gone. Also, another thing that bothers me is, you don't see your gun or equipment when you're using it, which looks kinda weird. You just get a crosshair, even though in mirrors you can see the gun in your hands, and I don't really understand why they did that. I mean, it couldn't have been some sort of technical problem, because even in Doom, the granddaddy of shooters, you could still see your gun. Now on to the really fun bit. Those things that ruin the game and make me want to kill myself. The stuff that drags it down from a 5-star rating. And this game has quite a few things. First of all, while the suspect AI is definitely praiseworthy, the officer AI is pretty lacking. They often wander straight into my line of fire, and if you kill one of them, the remaining officers will shoot you down in seconds. Also, they have absolutely no initiative. They won't cuff people who are surrendered, or pick locks or anything like that, unless you tell them to do it. And then you end up leading them around like sheep. Also, they are really accurate and will continually kill steal. And finally, if a suspect doesn't comply straight away, they'll open fire on them, and this can be a real pain when you're trying to keep the body count down. Secondly, there is a terrible choice of weapons. There are only 4 primary weapons: an assault rifle, 2 SMGs, and a shotgun. The SMGs are pretty much indistinguishable from each other in terms of rate of fire and damage, so effectively you have 3 weapons to choose from. And here's the kicker. There are no weapons that are primarily non-lethal. In a game where you're expected to bring everyone in alive, there are no non-lethal weapons. The only non-lethal type of ammunition are the rubber bullets for the assault rifle, and, well, they suck. I mean, they do absolutely nothing to stun the enemy. They just shrug them off and kill you. The only way to get them to have any effect is to land 2 headshots on a guy, which instantly kills them. Which completely defeats the purpose of having a non-lethal weapon if the only thing you can do with it is just go around killing people. To add to this, every single enemy that you encounter seems to be a crack shot with every type of weapon, and they have the reaction time of a cheater on cocaine, honestly. All the bad guys can headshot you before you get a chance to aim, plus you can only take a few shots anywhere on your body before dying. Finally, the biggest problem is that the style of gameplay that you're expected to use, which is making your guys do a lot of the work and firing few but well-placed shots, doesn't really work considering the problems of the game. For example, in most of the non-terrorist missions, I end up going along in wolf rather than taking my team, because they'll kill anything that moves, and I want to get a high rating. And later in the terrorist missions, where there are a lot of bad guys, it's damn near impossible to not end up spraying bullets everywhere, as the enemies one-shot kill you whenever they see one, and you end up panicking and just shooting manically, because if you die, you have to start the whole mission again. There are no in-game saves, and some of these missions go on for like half an hour. it is really hard. All in all, SWAT 3 is a fun game and an interesting experience, although one that's definitely not without its flaws. And I honestly don't like giving half stars, as this can cause confusion, and I might as well just give a rating out of 10. But with this game, it's appropriate. This game deserves 3.5 stars, which means if you happen to see the game at a low price like I did, then check it out. But I wouldn't go out in search of the game unless you are a fan of the FPS or strategy genre. Thank you, please rate and